Have you ever stepped out of bed only to be greeted by knees that groan louder than your alarm clock? That quiet, persistent H turning each movement into a calculated decision, whether to bend, climb, or even sit. For many older adults, knee pain isn't just discomfort, it's a daily barrier. A walk to the mailbox becomes a mission. A trip upstairs feels like scaling a mountain. It's not just physical, it weighs on your spirit. But here's the silver lining: you're not powerless. In fact, relief might be closer than you think. Not stashed in a prescription bottle or behind the doors of a surgery room, but in the simple choices you make each day. Subtle shifts in how you move, what you eat, what you wear. These small habits can quietly but powerfully shift your entire relationship with pain. Today, we're unlocking 5 doctor-approved habits that have changed lives. Not through dramatic overhauls, but through gentle, consistent action. These aren't miracle cures. They're not about chasing a fantasy of youth. Instead, they're rooted in respect for where you are and belief in where you can go. Take Frank, a retired mechanic who once thought his aching knees had permanently parked him in the sidelines of life. Or Mary, a lifelong gardener who almost gave up her roses. With just a few mindful changes, they found their way back, not to perfect knees, but to ease, to strength, to joy. This isn't about being flawless. It's about feeling free again. In the next few minutes, we'll explore how low-impact movement keeps your joints alive, what anti-inflammatory foods can do beyond fill your plate, why stretching is more than a warm-up. It's a daily kindness, how muscle strength protects your knees like armor, and the surprising power of your shoes to carry more than just your steps. So, if you've felt stuck, if knee pain has been your unwelcome companion for far too long, stay with me. These tips aren't just helpful, they're hope in motion. And by the end, you might just find yourself reaching for your morning coffee. Not with a wince, but with a smile. Your knees don't want a miracle. They want your attention. Let's give it to them, together. First, the gentle power of movement. It sounds like a contradiction, doesn't it? Your knees ache, so the last thing you want to do is move. Rest feels like a refuge. Curling up in a chair, staying still, avoiding the pain. But here's the quiet truth: doctors repeat time and again stillness can steal more than it saves. Without motion, joints stiffen, muscles weaken, and pain settles in like a squatter refusing to leave. What your knees truly crave isn't rest. It's the right kind of movement. Low-impact activity is the lifeline. It's not about running marathons or chasing records. It's about keeping your body awake, your blood flowing, and your joints nourished. Picture it: a gentle morning walk on level ground, your feet cushioned by supportive shoes, the rhythm of your steps like a steady heartbeat. Or a pool session, where the water holds you up and lets your knees move freely, weightless and smooth. Think of Frank again, a 70-year-old with grease-stained hands and knees that once screamed at every step. After years of tinkering under cars, he found himself sidelined, watching life go by from the porch. Traditional exercise felt out of reach. Jogging was agony. His physical therapist suggested swimming and cycling, activities he once scoffed at. But the water held him like an old friend. The bike carried him without punishment. Within months, Frank was back in the garage, kneeling with ease. Confidence returned. "I thought movement would break me," he said, "but it brought me back." Even simple routines can work wonders. Walk for 10 minutes after breakfast. Stretch like a cat when you rise. Ride a stationary bike while watching your favorite show. Dance slowly to a favorite tune. These aren't chores. They're gifts you give your knees. And it's not just your legs that benefit. Low-impact movement strengthens your core, improves balance, and sharpens your mood. Tai Chi, with its graceful flows, teaches your body to move with awareness. Water aerobics offers buoyant joy. Gentle yoga weaves stretch and strength into one practice. Don't underestimate posture, either. Stand tall, shoulders relaxed, core engaged. Distribute your weight evenly. Give your knees a break from carrying what the rest of your body should share. Consistency is key. You don't have to do it all at once. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to keep showing up. One gentle walk, one stretch, one moment of movement. That's how the stiffness fades and ease sneaks back in. Your knees were made to move, just not in pain. With low-impact activity, you offer them a second chance. Not to be what they once were, but to be better than they've been in a long time. Second, anti-inflammatory diet to soothe knees. What if your dinner plate held more than flavor? What if it held relief? It's easy to forget. But the food you eat doesn't just nourish your body, it speaks to it. And when it comes to knee pain, that conversation is powerful, because buried in your meals may be either a friend or a foe. Something that soothes the fire inside your joints or quietly fuels it. Inflammation is the hidden culprit behind many aches, especially in aging knees. It's like a slow-burning fire, not always visible, but steadily eroding comfort and mobility. The right foods can help extinguish that flame. Doctors often recommend the anti-inflammatory diet. Not a restrictive, joyless plan, but a vibrant, colorful way of eating that feeds your body and defends your joints. Start with the HERO-AS omega-3 fatty acids. These healthy fats work like natural fire extinguishers, calming inflammation and supporting joint health. You'll find them in salmon, with its rich, buttery texture, in walnuts, earthy and satisfying, and in flax seeds, tiny but mighty, perfect over oatmeal or blended into smoothies. Then there's the color. Berries, deep red and purple, bursting with antioxidants that protect your cells, spinach and kale, green and leafy, packed with nutrients your joints crave, and turmeric, the golden spice with ancient roots in healing. Known for its anti-inflammatory magic. Now meet George, 75, a widower who once relied on fast food and soda to get through his days. His knees groaned louder than his old garage radio. Painkillers helped, but left him cloudy and disconnected. When his doctor suggested a change in diet, George scoffed. Salmon over frozen pizza, he muttered, but slowly, he swapped chips for almonds, soda for water, and began to experiment with turmeric tea. Weeks later, something shifted. The pain softened, the stiffness faded. "I'm not just eating better," he told a friend, cracking open a walnut. "I'm healing." And yes, what you remove matters, too. Sugary drinks, fried foods, and heavily processed snacks can stoke inflammation like dry wood to a flame. They taste comforting, but they betray your knees. Instead, choose whole grains like brown rice and oats, which release energy slowly and don't provoke your joints. Cook with olive oil, that liquid gold known for its heart and joint benefits. And drink plenty of water. It keeps your joints lubricated, like oil in a well-tuned engine. The change doesn't have to be all at once. Add a handful of blueberries to your breakfast. Swap your white bread for whole wheat. Roast vegetables with turmeric and garlic. With every small shift, you feed not just your body, but your future. You don't need a miracle cure, just a mindful fork. Your knees will thank you, not with words, but with movement that feels free again. Third, gentle stretching to ease stiffness. Imagine your knees like old hinges on a gate that hasn't swung open in years. Stiff, creaky, reluctant. Now imagine what a little oil, a gentle push, and some patience could do. That's what stretching offers. Not a workout, not a struggle, but a quiet invitation to move again. Smoother, lighter, easier. Daily stretching is one of the most underrated habits in joint care. Yet doctors call it a cornerstone of knee health. Why? Because when muscles around your knees are tight, the quads in the front of your thighs, the hamstrings in the back, and the calves below, they pull on your joints like puppet strings, increasing pressure and pain. Stretching gently eases that grip, increases flexibility, and helps restore the space your knees need to move freely. And the beauty? You don't need to be a gymnast, or even get out of bed. Take Richard, a 72-year-old retired carpenter whose knees had spent decades carrying lumber, climbing ladders, and kneeling on hard floors. Over time, his joints stiffened like the floorboards he used to lay. Each morning, rising from bed felt like a chore. His knees locked and sore, each step a silent wince. That's when his doctor, a no-nonsense woman with a compassionate heart, gave him something unexpected, a 5-minute stretching routine. Still lying in bed, Richard began lifting and lowering each leg slowly. He'd stretch forward, toes toward the ceiling, breathing deep, no rush. Over days, then weeks, something changed. The tightness began to melt away. It's like someone oiled the hinges. He chuckled one morning, walking to the kitchen without that familiar shuffle. You don't need fancy moves. Just focus on the big 3 hamstrings. Sit with legs extended, reach gently toward your toes. Quads stand and grab your ankle behind you, using a chair for balance. Pelvis lean into a wall, one leg behind the other, feeling the stretch down your lower leg. Each stretch should be held, no bouncing, no rushing, for 20 to 30 seconds. Breathe deeply. Let your muscles soften like butter on warm toast. You can stretch in the morning to wake your body up, after a walk to cool it down, or at night to help you unwind. There's no perfect time, only consistency. Just 5 minutes a day can open the door to less pain, more mobility, and a sense of calm that ripples through your whole body. Stretching won't turn back time, but it will turn down the tension, loosen the grip of pain, and remind your knees and yourself that movement doesn't have to hurt. It can feel like a gift. Fourth, strengthen the muscles around the joint. If stretching is the gentle oil that loosens your joints, then strengthening is the steady hammer that rebuilds your foundation. Think of your knees as hinges. Yes, but even the strongest hinge can't hold up a shaky door. That's where your muscles come in. They're the scaffolding, the silent support system that keeps your knees steady, secure, and pain-free. As we age, those muscles tend to weaken, especially the quadriceps, front of the thigh, hamstrings, back of the thigh, and glutes, your backside. When they lose strength, your knees are forced to carry the burden alone. The result: strain, swelling, and the grinding ache that many older adults know all too well. But there's hope. And it doesn't live in a gym. You don't need heavy weights or a membership card. Just your body, a chair, and a bit of patience. Start with the seated leg raise. Sit tall in a sturdy chair, feet flat. Slowly lift one leg straight out in front of you. Hold for a few seconds, then lower gently. Repeat. It's a small movement, but it wakes up your quadriceps, your knee's most loyal ally. Then there's the heel and toe raise. Stand behind a chair, hands resting lightly for balance. Rise onto your toes, hold, then rock back onto your heels. This strengthens your calves, improving both balance and stability. If you're feeling confident, try bridges. Lie on your back, knees bent, feet flat on the floor. Lift your hips gently toward the ceiling, squeezing your glutes. This move strengthens your backside and takes pressure off your knees in the process. And don't forget wall squats, but make them friendly. Stand with your back against a wall, feet slightly forward. Slide down just a little, keeping it comfortable, then rise. This works your entire lower body without stressing the joints. Now meet Barbara, 68, a retired teacher with a soft voice and knees that used to scream at every staircase. For years, she chalked it up to aging. Part of getting older, she'd sigh, but her doctor saw more. He gave her a 5-minute routine, leg lifts, gentle squats, and encouraged her to stick with it. At first, it felt pointless, but weeks later, the stairs didn't feel like a mountain anymore. I feel like I've got my legs back, she beamed. No pain, no exhaustion, just strength returning, quietly, day by day. The secret isn't intensity, it's consistency. A little effort, every day builds resilience. These exercises don't just ease pain, they prevent future damage, reinforcing your knees like armor. strength doesn't always roar. Sometimes it hums quietly beneath your skin, holding you steady, step after step. Fifth, let your shoes carry the burden, not your knees. Every step you take sends a message up through your body, from your soles to your spine. But what if that message is more of a warning than a welcome? For many older adults, knee pain isn't just about the joints themselves. It's about what's happening below, starting at your feet. Because the shoes you wear aren't just accessories. They're your knees' first line of defense. Unfortunately, most people don't notice until it's too late. Worn-out sneakers with no support, flat sandals that slap instead of cushion, high heels that tilt your entire posture off balance. They may look fine, but underneath, they're quietly stacking pressure on your knees, step after painful step. The right footwear can make a world of difference. Doctors often compare good shoes to shock absorbers, reducing impact, aligning your body, and easing the load your knees carry. It's not about fashion. It's about function, support, stability, and softness. Look for shoes with firm heel support to keep your stance steady, good arch support to distribute weight evenly, cushioned soles to absorb impact and soften your stride. And if you need a custom fit, orthotic inserts can be game changers, sliding into your shoes like tailored comfort, helping align your gait and reduce joint stress. Take Mary, a 74-year-old gardener with a love for roses and a long battle with knee pain. She stretched. She strengthened. She even changed her diet. But still, the ache lingered. It wasn't until her doctor glanced down and asked about her shoes, well-worn flats with no support, that things clicked. A fitting later, she walked out with supportive sneakers and custom orthotics. The difference? Immediate. I didn't know my feet were betraying me. She laughed. For the first time in years, tending her flowers didn't leave her aching. And this isn't just for long walks or grocery runs. Around the house, ditch the bare feet on tile floors or flimsy slippers. Instead, wear indoor shoes with cushioning, giving your knees comfort, even at home. If your daily walk takes you across hard pavement, consider shifting to grass, dirt paths, or rubber tracks. The ground beneath your feet matters too. Think of your shoes not just as what gets you from point to point B, but as partners. They can either hurt or help. And when they help, your knees don't have to work as hard. A small investment, a better pair of shoes, a soft insole, can pay off with miles of pain-free movement. Your feet carry your body. Let your shoes carry your feet, and your knees will thank you. Finally, knee pain can feel like a thief, slowly, quietly robbing you of the joy in movement. It creeps in over time, turning daily routines into struggles, making stairs look like mountains, and walks feel like marathons. But here's something that pain never wants you to realize it. It doesn't have the final say. You do. The 5 habits we've explored today aren't complicated. They're not expensive, and they're not out of reach. They are, instead, small steps that lead to big change, slow, steady, and deeply empowering. Think of stretching, a quiet conversation with your body, gently loosening what time has tightened. Think of strengthening, the slow rebuild of muscles that have stood by your side for decades, now asking for a little attention in return. Imagine movement, not as punishment, but as medicine. Swimming, walking, cycling, even dancing. Inviting your joints to breathe again. Envision meals filled with vibrant colors, nourishing not only your body, but also your hope. And consider your shoes, not just footwear, but faithful guardians of your knees, softening every step. You've met Richard, who now rises without a groan, Barbara, chasing her grandkids without fear, George, who swapped frozen meals for healing foods, Mary, whose garden is once again a place of joy, and Frank, back in his garage, living the life he thought he'd lost. Ordinary people, real stories, and every one of them started with just one small change. You don't need to overhaul your life overnight. You don't need to wait for a better time. a perfect plan, or someone else's permission. You just need to begin. Where you are, with what you have. Maybe for you, it's that first gentle stretch before your feet hit the floor, or choosing salmon over processed snacks, or replacing worn-out slippers with shoes that truly support you. Whatever it is, let it be your first step. One seed, planted in kindness, can grow into a future with more freedom, less pain, and a life not defined by limitation. Your knees have carried you through so much. The good, the hard, the beautiful. Now it's your turn to carry them with care. So ask yourself, which habit will you try first? What spoke to you most? Stretching, movement, diet, support? Share it in the comments below. Let your voice ripple out, because you're not alone in this. If this video helped you, even just a little, don't forget to like, subscribe, and tap the bell. Together, we'll keep walking forward, one pain-free step at a time. This isn't the end of your story. It's a brand new chapter, and it starts today.